For the latest film interviews, reviews, and everything making news in pop culture, subscribe to Film Companion now.
But when I was chosen for this part, I was told I have a 3-day job. I didn't know the script. They hadn't given me the script. And I was a nimbu timbu, matlab, you know. So I didn't know anything about the film, and I had to go to Zanzibar for the music festival, and the ticket was 44,000 rupees, and you were paying me just more than that. So
is it true, Raj DK, that you offered a role to Chetan Bhagat to play himself and he said no? Is that a true story?
It is.
It is, no?
Why did he say no?
He said, "Who the fuck are you?" Like, he didn't know.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 10th celebration of Shor in the City. We are still waiting for Radhika Apte, and hopefully she will join us soon. But I thought I'll start chatting with all of you anyway. Okay, I've never done this before, but I'm going to start this interview by quoting myself.
Oh.
Here are the first few lines. Here are the first few lines of my review of Shor in the City. I said, Shor in the City is a terrific film. It's surprising and disturbing and has a vein of rich, dark humor coursing through it. With great skill and inventiveness, directors Raj DK and Krishna DK capture the chaos, absurdity, and cacophony that constitutes India's maximum city, Mumbai. So this is a movie I have loved for 10 years. I loved it when it first came out. I recommended it literally like 2 weeks ago to just as an Instagram recommendation. So I'm really thrilled to be doing this with all of you. One of the things that I loved about the film was just the little observant detailing. Like Abhay looking into the next car and seeing a Ganesh statue strapped in with a seatbelt, or Radhika's character Sapna saying she's unpacking those wedding gifts, and she says something like "Char ghadi or chhe Ganesh ji or ek mixi mili hai," and then there's that shot of all these partners on a sea face, just sort of in these intimate huddles, because this is a city where there is no privacy, right? And now looking back and rewatching this film, I'm just thinking, how did two software engineers who are not from Mumbai get the detailing so right?
Yeah, that that was a question even asked then, that it felt like Mumbaikars did the film, but we pretty much were 1 year old into the city at that point. So I think it just came in and city did the magic on us. And
sometimes I think if you're walking into a room, you get to notice what's happening in that room a little better than people who already lived there and got used to that space. So for us, everything that you mentioned in this movie, while it's been happening, on a daily basis in Mumbai, I think everybody else kind of took it in their stride, and for us, this kind of stuff stood out. So I guess that could explain it a little bit.
Tell me, was all of this on paper, or were you improvising some of it as you went along?
Those days, even now, I think most of it was on paper. Every single detail was on paper.
I think it was written, and I mean, we had a script. I mean, except maybe some crowd stuff happening in a crowd. Sometimes magically it happens, but otherwise, most things I think
that was the
part
of writing. Writing was that we used to take so many pictures through the city, like everything I see, we used to take pictures, and three of us were brainstorming throughout, me, DK, and Sita Menon. So we were like always discussing, what is this? And she was our guide to Bombay. So we used to say, what is this? What is this? What does it mean? Why are they doing this? So even though we are from India, we just were never there in Mumbai before. So it was those capturing of visuals. I used to take pictures of people on the roads and strange things. But it all went into the film, and we used to have tons of newspaper clippings. So we made it a point to say that almost many details from this were from the papers or from what we saw.
Sendhil, you said you did an interview when the film released in which you talked about how, of course, this was the first Indian film that you did. And you said it was a 4-week shoot and there was chaos and there was noise. What do the four of you remember about this 4-week shoot? Like, what was the most ridiculous thing that happened while you guys were making it?
Oof. It was just, it was really packed. It was just, I was working every day. I think that I was there 6 days a week. I was filming because we had some kind of time, like
Yeah,
I
I know
had to
your
be, I
your
had to
agent
be,
put that.
yeah.
Your agent put a
Oh
gun to
no,
our
you know
head.
what it was? I had to go to Sundance. I had to go to Sundance.
Oh.
So I had to be back in the States in time to go to Sundance for a film. Like contractually, I was obligated to go to Sundance. So we were really, really kind of pressed for time, and there would be time. I remember getting a call one Saturday morning just saying, we're going to come pick you up and just shoot some stuff around the city. I was like, what are we going to shoot? I was like, I don't know my lines. They're like, don't worry about it. There's no lines. Just come. So we would just kind of drive around and kind of steal shots. It kind of, a lot of the times it felt like guerrilla filmmaking, which is what I loved. I mean, you don't necessarily love it when you're doing it sometimes because it just feels like you don't have something to hold on to in the scene because you don't know what the scene is, but it also can produce really magical stuff that, no amount of rehearsing could ever bring. And actually rehearsing could kind of ruin it if you rehearse it. And I think that it was the first time I'd kind of been in a film like this where it was kind of like, you don't have control of the street in Mumbai. Here you shut down a street in New York or in LA and you have control of it. And in Mumbai, like, Raj DK would shout, action is when the rickshaw passes. And then you just start the scene, And so it was very different for me, but it was really, really exciting. I look back very, very fondly on my time shooting that movie.
I was actually shooting for something else, and then I suddenly got into this, and they suddenly cut my hair off into a buzz cut, and and then we started filming it according to location, because I think they were planning the film according to the locations. It wasn't planned like in a linear manner. So so there was a lot of chaos internally, also a bit of insecurity, which is very, very important. And I think that really helped me let go. It was important for me to let go, because otherwise there's this urge to control it and do your best. And especially if you're doing so many films that are commercial, you have to have that energy, and they broke all those barriers of mine, at least, and they just shattered all those preconceived notions that I probably came onto every set with. And I think that is where a lot of things worked out, and a lot of things look like how Mumbai really is like.
Yeah.
The abandon, the madness,
Right. I mean, anytime Tushar Kapoor goes on the road, right? Suddenly crowds start gathering, right? Everybody, oh, Tushar, crowds start gathering. Now imagine what we do. We put him and Radhika on a scooter, motorcycle, and we find a camera. We find a place where we hide the camera and we shoot, and they just drive now. They drive. It's like Juhu Circle. They're driving right in the middle of traffic. And then a cop came and I think he went to Tushar because he was not wearing a helmet. So he went to him and he was like, and then he looked at him, and then of course we are watching this from far on the camera, right? And then Tushar is like, I'm sure. I mean, later he tells what happened. He tells him, so we're shooting a film here. Can you just let us go? So the guy like, okay, where's the camera? He's like, camera is somewhere, but we are shooting a film. Please move. So he left. And
like the shot is on right now. We're in the shot. You're in the scene. Can you move?
You were in the movie, sir.
For me, just the idea of Tilak, this sort of little fringe goon. I mean, he's a decent goon, right? Who suddenly loves Paulo Coelho is just just the one liner of it is so comical. How did the two of you come up with this man?
See, I'll tell you the genesis. The one visual that gave the start of the whole script was we've been collecting lots of ideas. We don't know what the story was going to be. We've had newspaper clippings and stories and this and that. And then there was this one visual at the intersection, one of the intersections, where it was a crowded, noisy, freaking intersection. And we were in an auto or something. And we were watching people. And it was such a mixture of things there that, there was a couple fighting in a bike. Like she had draped dupatta on her, and they were just really in the middle of an argument, a young couple. And that was like what became of Sandeep Kishan's track and Girija's track. And so so we were there, and there was this really nice E-class, S-class, whatever, I don't remember, like a Mercedes with a guy sitting in the back, lost in his world, not even worrying about a sound that's coming, and a chauffeur-driven guy, which is Sendhil. And then they would maybe doubles or triples. There were two bikes with three friends just laughing. They didn't care where they were, and two or three friends, not exactly like in the film, but everybody was there. Everybody was right next to each other, but they just didn't know anything about each other and what was their world like, what was their world like, and what was his world like. And we all coexist. And we as authors are sitting there and watching and commenting on these things could be summarized as an idea or a snapshot of Mumbai for us.
Yeah.
We wanted to do a film on Bombay, which was hitting us so hard in so many directions, and such a crazy, love-hate thing happening, that we didn't want to do a film where, you start off with "Ye Mumbai shehar hai, yahan
Right.
crore log aate hain," versus let's go into a snapshot and make it a thriller of a film. So that's how it started. And about the script, we had a very solid script, and we were very proud of it because it was written very well, formatted very well, and we were like, three of us took great care in it. We had all the details in it. It's just that these stars who are used to studios and well-planned shoots were not used to this, pushing them into the middle of the streets and saying, "Can you just go there and tell your line?" Say like, "What? Can you even hear me?" Sendhil was such a sport because it was like his first day or second day, and he was, he hadn't slept or jet lagging, crazy shit. And in Versova village, we had such a shots planned so far away, like a big zoom, and Sendhil, can you walk from there? And this is that scene. I don't know if you remember that scene when this happens. Can you walk from there? And we gave him the scenario, and he's walking, and he this is shot, and he comes and says, "Raj, they were like two dead rats, and there was there was a dog that was chasing me. I just didn't want to look in the eye."
I remember that. It's like, is this how it's supposed to be? Is this right? And you guys seemed very happy with it and very amused.
I think you were playing an NRI, so I think your reactions must have been pretty much how they must have, envisioned it. Yeah.
There was no acting required.
Hi, Radhika.
Hi, Radhika. So nice to have you join us.
I had an audition.
I know.
But that's what we were all saying. Like, who in their right minds is auditioning you?
Well, I audition all the time and get rejected all the time too. So it's like.
Okay, so Radhika, to bring you up to speed, we're just talking about the madness of shooting this film on the streets of Mumbai, and how you were just put out on the street and told to go, just go. And you know what, I want to talk to you about this character of Sapna, who was just so lovely, because of course she's smarter than her husband. I mean, she is, as he finds out, college educated. But what I liked about her was that she never gave a sense of sort of looking down on him. She treated him with such affection. She was really sweet. What did you like about her? What was your sense of this lovely woman?
I think her complete unawareness, being unaware of her own beauty, her own intelligence, actually makes her even more beautiful. Yeah. And total disregard to any hierarchy in that manner, in the sense that it's just a product of society, clearly. But I'm very innocent. I think it's just so pure and innocent and childlike. So I think all of those, I still remember doing that shot with the sunglasses. It's so endearing, that scene in general.
What she said is correct. That was the idea, that she's unaware of her intelligence. and she's not judging anybody. She's just looking at mixies and saying, I think it's used. I think somebody gave a fucking used mixie or something.
Yeah, but I remember Raj doing that shot. We did it so many times. Do you remember?
Why? Why did you do it so many times?
Because I wasn't innocent enough.
She was, okay, I'll tell her how we cast her, right? Like nobody knew. Now she's like all, anyway, I don't want to joke about it, but she's, nobody knew. I saw her picture of her in a magazine or somewhere. And I said, I've seen one girl and she is so good for this, find out who. And I'm there like, give me more than that. It's not like you can say, I saw a picture somewhere. So they were struggling and we were auditioning all kinds, lots of people and stuff. And then suddenly it popped in Google again one day. I was just trying all kinds of things, various, and getting wrong pictures and all. Then she came up, one picture in some half sari they call
That was a Rakta Charitra picture, you know.
Yeah, like an audition picture or something from Akcharitra. And then so I said, this girl, find out. And I said, who is this girl? Nobody knew the name also. There's a picture, but there is no name. So, but somehow we knew we must have her in the film. And I don't even think she auditioned.
I auditioned.
You did?
Atul Mongia auditioned me. I'll tell you where. In the Lakshmi Industrial Estate, you had an office which had a first floor, which was like a maisonette. Like it was just like a small.
Yeah, I know. But, what you didn't know is only that mezzanine portion was our office. The rest of it was somebody else's office. Yeah. You didn't know that. You thought the whole place was ours.
There was not even like room to audition at the table, and I was on this side of the table, and Atul was that side of the table, and we auditioned.
Yeah, what you didn't know was once you left, that was her office.
You remember what scene you did?
I think I did that scene where he finds out that she can read.
Yeah, tum pad sakti ho? Like he asked, na? That's like that's one of the
in the balcony, in the balcony.
Balcony is the very few scenes where I've auditioned and gotten the part. So I remember clearly.
I have so many memories of those night shoots because I think our track was all nights.
Yeah.
If you remember correctly.
It was those initial stages where we were thinking of, we wanted to, one of our strong characters was, the first strong woman characters was Radhika's character. And we really wanted to say a lot of things, but we wanted to be subtle about it and not start, overwriting it. So there was bits of being about fairness, about, about not questioning the hierarchy, about women, you always assume that, okay, she didn't, whatever, like the hierarchy of her surprising, and even the tenderness of them between them, that the Tilak character was for a goon, for a bootlegger, he was tender enough that, and the fact that, she made the move in the bed, things like that. So they were all pretty subtly putting a progressive character.
Okay, I have to ask, we're told that Abhay has a dark past, right? But we're never told what that dark past is. So was there a backstory, Sendhil? Did you know what your character was doing?
We talked about his past. And am I remembering this right? Did we have like
you had a scar on your back?
A scar on his back. And he says in that scene, and she says, do you want to talk about it? And he says, not now. And we're never told what's the rough stuff he's done.
One of the running themes, right? I mean, sorry, Sandhil, I'll give you one of the running themes was, because we were making this movie, which is a snapshot of these characters over a span of 11 days only, from homecoming to Visarjan. Consciously, we decided that we will never get into anybody's lives before this period. So it's only these 11 days. What you see about these characters that you meet on the streets in these 11 days is all you know. You see them doing something, now you know. You see a scar, but you never ever go back to what happened before that period, or obviously we don't go to what happened after. It was a conscious effort. So we were throwing enough hints, but they never, none of the characters actually had a backstory that we were planning on showing.
I get that we don't know the backstory, but in your heads was, what did Abhay do? Like, who was this guy?
he had a rough past. I mean, I'm sure we had a character sketch amongst us as to what she is. He even snorted coke in one of the scenes, which we took out later because it didn't. The way Sendhil was playing it, and as we were watching it, we even shot the scene. We just didn't see him wanting an aid even now. So it was fine that we wanted him to make this decision with clear mind, because sure, the noise is what is causing him to do what he's doing, not under the influence. So we shot a scene where he snorts coke, and then
We shot a series of scenes. He buys coke, he goes, he snorts it, and then it kind of initially when we shot it, it felt like he needed that little boost for him to decide to do the stuff he does. But then we realized once we finished shooting at the editing table, we decided he doesn't need that boost.
Right.
I did what I thought was my finest cocaine acting, and these guys turned around and cut it out of the film. I did all this research, and it's all gone. No, I wrote out a whole backstory for the character, which I think I still have. I have my notebook from,
Really?
I keep a notebook for every project because I write out kind of detailed stuff that, you know, more than half the stuff you probably don't even use or remember, but I find it helpful maybe it's not helpful. I think it just settles my nerves because I get very nervous before I start every project, regardless of what it is. And I think just having that, and I remember I had a backstory where he had like ripped off his business partners and they were fairly thuggish and he shouldn't have been in business with them in the first place. And he had gone to his father for a loan and his father had turned him down because his business idea was shit. So then he went to these people to get money and then he screwed them over and then they, you know, gave him a beating. And like I had all this in my head as I was doing it. I don't think I ever thought about it once it was on set, but I just kind of had it in my head. And I should see if I can find that notebook. It's somewhere.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Well, that's an awesome story you made for yourself, Sendhil. I mean, I didn't think of all that.
I thought I showed you guys the notebook. Did I not show you the notebook?
I kind of remember you were the only guy with the vanity van. So we had to, that was our budget.
Wow.
The budget was so tight that we were like, oh my God, we need a vanity van. What the fuck? We need a generator for it. What? So we had to get it in. And I went into the van. I remember the first meeting we had, and he was like opening his book. I think it's like Moleskin or something. And, you know, we were going through these little bits. He was saying, you think it makes sense? I said, sure, it does.
Yeah, go for it. It's never going to be in the movie. Do what you want.
But wait. Tushar, as the producer's brother, you didn't get a vanity van?
He got it.
I don't know if it, I don't think I had it or didn't have it. I think there was some places where I think we had space for a vanity van, so it was there. And then most of the locations were so crowded and they were so much in touch with reality, like the traffic, etc. So I don't think there was any space for a vanity van. So it was a mixture of both. And then I think everything was so fast and it was so organized and it was so planned, like 7 to 7. And, you know, you had to be up early and then be in, I think there was one, I clearly remember one location was Bhayandar. I've seen so many places of Mumbai because of this film. I don't think I'd ever been to these places before, which is a shame. But I think that's the good part of this film, that it really brought me close to my city. You know, it really came through with this film that it's a great city to be in, but it's a very tough city to be in. It's quite a bad place at the same time. You can be attracted to a lot of people, but you can't trust them at the same time.
Yeah.
So there's always some bhelpuri somewhere and there's no clear path. I think that's what really came through. And Vanity Van to badma dur ki baat hai, you know, there was, that's besides the point, but thoda tha, thoda nahi tha, I think. Huh?
I never met Radhika. No, this is the first time I'm actually kind of speaking to her, sort of. And Tushar, I met at the party at the
New York Film Festival,
and at the New York Film Festival. I met
where you had come and you said, I've just had a meeting with the director of Pretty Woman. I still remember that.
Yeah, I didn't get the job.
Did you do any scenes that didn't make it?
Me? Oh, they flew me back to do more.
Yosa.
But it's true, actually. I it's a funny story I just remembered, by the way. Raj and DK, don't take it personally, obviously. But uh, but when I was chosen for this part, I was told I have a 3-day job. It was just a 3-day job. I didn't know the script. They hadn't given me the script, and I was a nimbu timbu, matlab, you know. So I didn't know anything about the film, and I had to go to Zanzibar for the music festival, and the ticket was 44,000 rupees, and you were paying me just more than that. So I decided to take up the job, and then I didn't expect this to happen. Then I went to London to study. I remember you wanted to then shoot Saibo. Saibo was not there in the beginning, and then they flew me in December to shoot Saibo for 5 days, and I was like, yes, they're paying for my trip back home.
In Jan 2011. Yeah, we shot first in Jan 2010, and then I think we shot again in Jan 2011.
2011.
Yeah,
exactly.
I had to cut my hair all over again, and all the other movies went out of continuity because of Shor in the City, but it was all worth it.
Worth it, because then I went back, and then my friends started calling me saying that your song's a hit. Your song's a hit.
Yeah. Such a lovely song, yeah. Such a lovely song.
And the film, I mean, it became such a it was, I didn't even know the script, so it was really amazing to.
Radhika, basically, and everybody was paid pittance. Like in basically,
It was a
including
time-
us, if I may say so.
In the film. So you saved me. I wanted to go to Zanzibar.
Yeah. No. It was that. It was that, we'll get a person, and Zakir, Nikhil Dwibedi, Vikash, everybody were like per day something nominal.
Obviously.
Nikhil Dwibedi, I even remember saying that, he actually bargained for a 2,000 rupees more per day or something. He took the money and gave it to an old actor that comes, the watchman in the bank, old watchman who's there. And he knew the guy for a long time. He was a known artist. We didn't know it.
Yeah.
He took his money and gave it to him. So he said, you know what, can I get a little more? And he said, okay, sure. And then, it was really like cutting corners. But Radhika became popular overnight, and everybody was calling me and saying, where is this girl from Shor in the City? I said, I don't know. She's dancing somewhere.
That's what I meant was that when I was doing the film, I only did it for this stupid reason because I didn't even want to be a film actor by then. Right. And I didn't anticipate what this film would do. Because I had read it also, but I was so naive. I didn't realize what it would do, and it did wonders. Yeah.
I have two author questions. Is it true, Raj and DK, that you offered a role to Chetan Bhagat to play himself, and he said no? Is that a true story?
It is.
It is. No?
Why did he say no?
He said, "Who the fuck are you?" He didn't know. Who are you guys?
I know. He tweeted about it afterwards, right? Didn't he, Raj? He tweeted about it saying
he was sweet enough to tweet when he saw the film in the first week of release or whatever. He said, like, by the way, I was offered that role and I didn't know why I turned it down or something nice. He did.
Yeah.
Okay, and you got permission from Paulo Coelho to use his book in the film?
Yeah, see, we didn't even we were in a place where we did not even know that Bombay required permissions to shoot in certain locations. We used to shoot like that. We didn't know. We were just like, I like this location. Tushar was everybody was really, really cooperative. We took them outside near Mira Road and beyond, found fields where we could blast a bomb. And so stuff like that. So we had to take everybody, like Tushar was running in the fields, and we could do only so much. We can sanitize. We could.
So wait, you didn't get permission for shooting, but you got permission for using the book.
No, yes, we did. So because we liked the author and we sent a sweet email to him. That was it. We just said it wasn't like paperwork or anything. I don't think we paid or anything. We just requested for permission and sent him the script. And I think we sent him the script.
Yeah.
And he said, I really like the script, go for it. And that was it. So we just used it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, what Raj means to say is sometimes you just go out on a limb and you shoot, and then all these permissions for books and stuff, it comes in post, when you're planning to release the film. Because when you shoot, it costs nothing to put a book or use a song. All this comes later. It's like...
Okay, I have to ask you, the scene of Abhay on the terrace in his towel, was that strictly necessary, or was that purely let us celebrate the beauty of this man?
That was put in by that was put in by his agent that we need to
We have to
have-
see the
You
ad.
need to show him topless.
topless.
I have a nudity clause in all of my contracts. I must appear nude in all films. My mother loves that. She's so thrilled every time.
I think the shot before that got edited out. That's when
That's
the
where he was snorting coke.
smoke and stuff. So
Yes, that's right.
showering it, and he was sitting there at the table and he was snorting it. It goes in the windows. So it just became that one shot now. Which
I was snorting coke in my pajamas.
yeah, in pajamas or something. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it became a
as you
little
do.
ridiculous at that point. Looking at the edit, so everything just got cut around it. No, it was just being as wherever possible, just being in their homes. Like even how even the cyber song, even if you see, it's really about Tushar, character Tilak sitting there watching these models walk the ramp, and she's putting Fair and Lovely, and all that stuff. So it was just really trying to be in their homes. Pick that one or two moments where they're by themselves. It was trying to represent that.
I also
Yeah, and
DK.
yeah, no, and I think of the first draft of the film that we made, even in the edit, the first couple of drafts, actually we wanted to not have any music in the film, right? Just play with real sound. So actually, the first couple of drafts that we submitted to film festivals and everything actually had no background score. So we were going for that kind of just play with Foley sounds and natural sounds and do not put any background score. But and we had made a short film before this, also called Shor, which we had actually did it like that. Actually, if you watch that short film, maybe I'll get a chance to show it to you at some point. There is no music in it. It's just sounds and everything. Then it works very well. But after the first cut, we realized that for actually a feature-length film, it can get taxing.
Yeah.
And so then when we decided we're gonna put music, I think we went apeshit over it, and we put a lot of music, and I think it kind of changed a lot of things around in the film.
Well, how would we, like imagine this film without Karma is a bitch. Imagine that opening
Right.
sequence of the camera with these three boys on that motorcycle, and
Right.
without that song kind of throbbing in the backdrop. I don't know. It's so essential. That song is just superb.
I am still tagged every single day on Instagram by somebody singing Saibo or Karma is a Bitch, and they tag the cast members. So every single day, I will sometimes I'll go and actually look at it, and some of them are just truly awful and they should stop. But some of the people are really talented, and they tag everybody and they sing Saibo, and it's very beautiful.
Yeah, they've made it into a dance number, completely new concept of the song.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
lots of
lovely.
people.
Like it was one of those Anupama. It was really one of those films where independent filmmaking at its truest sense. And then even these two boys were like new, upcoming. They were just assisting earlier or something. We just sat in their crammed little studio, and we were sitting there, and they were playing some ideas.
This is Sachin Jigar.
Sachin and Jigar, yeah. And then we were like, who are these people? That's it. I'm in love with them. We're getting married, and let's start making movies together. So, we're sitting, and all these really, really sweet ideas were coming, and our collaboration in such a way that we sit down and discuss even instruments and lines, and how the structure should be. Let's cut out the antara half here. So it's exciting time whenever we sit with them. We made some.
Yeah, I think we picked the cello, like in Saibo, like picking that instrument, a particular instrument, like because nobody's ever used it.
Okay, I could be here for a long time chatting about this film because I love it so much, but I have two last questions. At the end of the film, Raj and DK, it says that all the incidents are based on newspaper stories, and that's actually also in the beginning of Family Man, that all of it comes from true stories. So how did this film prepare you to make this blockbuster series?
It's yeah. You were actually you were. That's
No, no,
why.
I was almost bracing for it, saying you've done that once before. You're doing this now again. I was bracing for this question actually because of that message.
But you caught it
And
right, Anupama. This is the first time
yeah,
somebody's pointing that out to us. It was it. We wanted to go back to shore with the Family Man in our own way. Maybe I don't know how much comes through, but the idea was that go back to the way we made Shore and make a series in that tonality, in that concept. But of course the story is completely different. It's about this guy, intelligence officer, the whole deal. But the idea was that to even it's shot like that, it's shot that way, and we try to make it as real as possible and stuff. But yeah, it did. Shore in the City was in the back of our minds, and used it as an example for a lot of scenes, and how we went back and picked up some ideas from it, and put it in the Family Man.
But that's so fascinating, how you seed your own growth and your evolution as an artist. And then you talk, the two of you, in several interviews about a script called Farzi, which you say is Shor in the City on steroids. um,
right. Yeah,
That's
I
right.
remember saying, yeah,
what
I
is
remember.
Farzi, and when do we see Farzi?
Farzi is also changing shape. It also is going to, most of these films were fused in, became something like Stree was another shape, and then we thought we should have it this way. So Farzi is going to have another shape to it. Some of our best scripts, like, which we were always in love with, we are adamant in trying to get them out in another form, or in whatever form that suits it better.
Does it have an NRI in it?
I thought by now you'll be speaking Tamil.
Yeah. At least.
Can I tell you something else I noticed when I saw it again? So there's that scene where they're planning the bank robbery, and Savvy says that we'll put rumals across our faces, and Tipu Bhaiya says,
स्वाइन फ्लू भी है.
so I was like, wow, this film has aged really well. That's a scene you
Wow.
could have shot today.
Foreshadowing.
Seriously.
Wow, I
Wow.
forgot that line. I forgot that line.
God, yeah.
So
Masks.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
all of you, genuinely well done, and this was so much fun. It's always such fun to revisit movies you love, and please, all of you, just keep at it. Just keep entertaining us.
Hi, everyone. This was the Shore reunion show. We really enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed watching it too. If you did, please subscribe to Film Companion.